In a future where disease, pollution, and corporate greed have made getting a delicious meal more difficult than ever, the residents of Night City must prepare their food without eggs, dairy, or meat. This is Cyberpunk Kitchen. We will recreate meals from the action role-playing game Cyberpunk 2077 using ingredients that are readily available. So let's get started with today's recipe and see what a cyberpunk future might taste like. There is no reference to refried beans anywhere in Cyberpunk 2077. However, I am planning on 2 future recipes that are from the game and will use beans as an ingredient, so rather than extend those videos to include cooking beans, I thought I would give it a standalone video. Cooking beans from scratch is very cost effective, literally pennies per serving, and this recipe is also quite tasty. Place 1 cup of dried pinto beans and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda into a bowl and cover with water. Set somewhere safe and let the beans soak overnight, between 8 and 24 hours. As the beans soak, they'll absorb water and expand. After the beans have soaked, prepare the other ingredients. Measure out the spices, cut up an onion and the chili. I'll be using a device called an Instant Pot, a type of automatic pressure cooker, but this recipe could just as easily be made on the stovetop. It'll just take longer to cook. Set the Instant Pot on sauté and add a tablespoon of oil. Add the chopped onions and chilies and cook for about 2 minutes. Then add the garlic. If you don't have fresh or garlic paste, you can use a teaspoon of garlic powder. Add the vegetable stock and water. This should deglaze the bottom of the pot. If not, use a spatula to scrape loose anything that's stuck. Add the spices all at once. And of course, add the beans after first draining and rinsing them. Give the mix a stir and put the lid on the Instant Pot. Set the timer for 45 minutes and let the Instant Pot do its thing. After 45 minutes, let the pressure release naturally. This will take about 25 minutes. Open the vent and release any remaining pressure and remove the lid. If you don't have an Instant Pot, you'll need to simmer the beans on the stovetop for about 2 to 3 hours. Keep them covered and periodically check to ensure that the liquid doesn't boil away. Add water as necessary. Allow the beans to cool enough that you can work with them without burning yourself. Remove the bay leaf from the pot and discard them. Strain the rest of the cooked beans and return them to the pot. Save 2 cups of the bean water. The beans need to be ground up until smooth. I'll be using a wand mixer, but any mixer or food processor will do, but I found that the wand mixer is the easiest to use and to clean up. If you don't have a mixer, you could even use a potato masher. Grind, mash, or mix the beans until they are smooth, paste-like consistency, about 2 minutes with the wand. You may have to add some of the saved liquid back into the mix. The beans will harden over time, so it's better to have too much liquid than too little. Transfer to an airtight container and refrigerate, and stand by for my upcoming episodes on Cyberpunk 2077 burritos and tamales. The nutritional content will vary depending on exactly how you prepare this recipe, but this is pretty close to what you should expect. So what does a Primo meter have to say? This recipe tastes great and it's super inexpensive to make. However, it only gets a gonk because of the extended time it takes to prepare and the need for special cooking gear like an Instant Pot or a wand mixer. And even though it's possible to make the recipe without special gear, doing so will extend the amount of time it takes to make the recipe.